Here's the hardest truth for that person, because when things are good, during good times, there's a great quote that I don't know if it was a quote or not, but anyways, I heard it, but like, keep strict accounts. And when you're growing a business, or if you're growing multiple businesses, what ends up happening is when that money starts to flow in, you start to like, oh yeah, this is good. And you start investing in other things or bringing on employees, or all of a sudden now you've got like subscription and memberships. And if you're not keeping a strict account, you always wonder like, well, how did that person that was successful, who was like, looked like he was like a multimillionaire in different businesses, how did they go bankrupt?
You mentioned something about the just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, and the how many units you can max out on.
Yeah.
I had a dinner with a colleague the other night, and he's building 12 units in Brantford.
Okay.
And we were having this conversation. He's like, we can really push it to 12. And I was like, and I'm not saying I know, I'm not looking at your deal.
Yeah.
But you're going to have 12 relatively small units. You're also over 10, so you need to go full site plan.
Yeah.
Have you looked at what 9 units right now, 9 nice 2-bedroom units with a den and an in-suite laundry? Have you ran a pro forma on 9 versus 12 small by saving site plans, saving all this stuff, and really running at what the absorption on those units are? Because if you have 12 smalls versus 9 nice 2s, it might be interesting for you to see what those numbers are.
Right.
The other point I want to throw out there is we've actually seen, this is kind of a different conversation about just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can get 6 units on a lot doesn't mean it's functionally buildable. So we've actually seen a couple of these bigger projects that have had to be scaled back because they've been approved for more, but like the contractors get out there and be like, we can't actually build this. Like your neighbor needs to tear their fence down and let us work on their property in order to build yours.
Right.
And if they won't consent to that, like we're gonna have to crane everything. Like your build costs are gonna be ridiculous. So just because something can be approved for it doesn't mean it's like functionally buildable. And something that people really got to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ran into that on the garden suite side of things at all, but I've seen this a little bit more lately.
No, not where we're doing it. You know, like I don't know if you've ever been to Peterborough, but man, there's a lot of detached homes and there's a lot of large lots. And also too, prior to doing that, you know, we do. I've got a team that we've been doing this for a long time, where they understand how wide the driveway has to be. They understand the setbacks when you're doing your garden suites from the fence, getting that plumbing into the home or the structure that's there already. So there's a lot that goes into it, and then we've got a really good team out there. So I'm always big on partnering with the right people, having the right team around you, because it's not an easy game. I saw a lot of agents come in from Toronto into Peterborough, and they don't understand the lay of the land there. And there's a river that runs right through there, and all of a sudden now you're buying a property because it's a great deal. It's been sitting there for 30 days. You don't understand in the peak of things. Oh, guess what? You're in a flood zone. Done. Right. So you got to make sure you're going out with people that understand that market, that city. And I get it. Your aunt who's a realtor, your uncle who's a realtor might give you a bit of a kickback, but now you've bought a property that you can't do anything with. So you got to be careful.
That kickback's not going to cover the.
Yeah.
You better hope you're insured.
Yeah, I got to sell this property now. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. What kind of talk a little bit about the hard truth here. For a newbie investor, somebody who's brand new, maybe they own their home, but like they've never invested in real estate. Yeah. What's the hard truth?
The hard truth. So as a newbie, as a real estate investor getting into the market, the hard truth is this. Is that most of you will not have the money to grow a portfolio that you may want to. Meaning that you will run out of money eventually. It doesn't matter if you're Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if you're Robert Kiyosaki. Everything is partnership. It's always about partnerships, right? And so I think if you're partnering with the right people, and this is a whole nother podcast just on how do you raise capital, how do you find the right joint venture partner, because it's not only just about the money part of it, it's if you're partnering with somebody, that is a relationship, that is a marriage. Sometimes that can be even longer than your marriage. So you want to make sure that you're getting into bed with the right potential joint venture partner. But don't look at, I don't have enough money in my bank account. How can I buy an investment property? Learn number two things, mindset and how to raise capital. And if you do those two things, then you will get to a point in your life where you never have to worry about money again.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love the partnership thing that you said.
Yeah.
I'm going to add to that. 'Cause, this is something I've done several partnerships over the years. And one of the rules that my wife and I, when we do a partnership with somebody else, we go out for dinner with that person.
Right.
Yeah. Should your first date, you usually go out for dinner, right?
Yeah.
We're going to get in bed with this person or couple. We want to know them. And one of the things that we always talk about at dinner is religion and politics.
Right.
And I could actually care less whether we agree on the religion and politics. I want to know, can we disagree and have a conversation about it?
Right.
Can we find a common ground on it? Typically we do agree, and that's good, but if there's a point of contention, let's get to that right out of the gate, because we're about to marry money together and time and resources for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we can have a tough conversation and still order dessert and a coffee and get out of there as friends. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a little tip I'll add on to the end of the partnership thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really important as well too is that there can only be one cook in the kitchen. And I think that's where a lot of times they don't have that difficult conversation at the beginning of who's doing what. It's so important, right? And I've gotten to the point too where like the very first thing that I want to do is I want to make a list of what I want in a partner and what I don't want in a partner. And then when I have that conversation with them, I'm making these mental checks in my head of like, okay, so far everything is checking. And then the last question is like, who do you want to manage the property, you or me? And I'm saying, look, if it's going to be me, just so you know, right? If that fridge breaks down and I like green fridges, we're getting a green fridge. If not, you can manage it and you can call the shots. And a lot of times they're like, no, I don't want nothing to do with it. You deal with it. You deal with the tenant. You deal with the issues. Right? Of course, I'm not going to buy a green fridge.
No.
But I'm just letting them know, like there's got to be one cook in there. Am I going to let you know what's happening? Of course, I'll give you a high-level overview. But at the end of the day, I'm calling the shots.
So let's just clarify on that, because I see so many people trying to get into partnerships.
Yep.
You're the active partner. You bring the money partner.
Yep.
The active partner does the deal.
Yep.
And the money partner does the money, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah. Go take your daughter to soccer. Go watch the Raptors play basketball, right? Like you go do your thing because the money partner is the money partner. Let me do everything else, from making sure that, the books are where the books need to be from an accounting standpoint, from a tax standpoint, the tenants, the screening, the construction. There's a lot of moving pieces to that. Let me deal with that, because I've been doing it for a long time. I understand how that works. You continue on with your life, your 9 to 5, unless you want to venture into that world. But a lot of times they don't want to. They just want to see their money, build some wealth for themselves and for their family.
Yeah, they think they do.
They think they do
until you lay out what my job actually is. This is what I'm going to do. It's like, no, green fridge is fine. Fine. I don't have to look at it. So
they appreciate the tough conversation. Listen, I've got a partnership with a real estate partner of mine, an investor as well too, and he calls the shots. I know just as much as he does. I'm like, no, you call the shot, and you're like, hey, look, we got to get a new roof. Can we make it stretch for another year? No, we got to do this year. All right, cool. But we made that decision right from the beginning.
How are you on? I'll admit, admittedly, I struggle. Mm-hmm. I'm not a good passive partner.
Okay.
I guess I'm a control freak. I've been the active partner for so long.
Yeah.
How has that transition been for you?
Great.
It's
one less thing for me to worry or not worry about.
I guess it really depends on who the active partner is. You trust this person, just like your partner.
100%. Exactly. It goes right back to like what I said before, right? It's a marriage. You are in a marriage. And so there has to be trust there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess you kind of answered for both, but is there a different hard truth you would say for like the more experienced person who wants to go to the next level,
Yep.
thinks they need to go to the next level. Maybe they bought their 5 properties. They're thinking about leaving their job. Like, what's that hard truth for that person?
Here's the hardest truth for that person, because when things are good, during good times, there's a great quote that I don't know if it was a quote or not, but anyways, I heard it, but like, keep strict accounts. And when you're growing a business, or if you're growing multiple businesses, what ends up happening is when that money starts to flow in, you start to like, oh yeah, this is good. And you start investing in other things or bringing on employees, or all of a sudden now you've got like subscription and memberships and if you're not keeping a strict account, you always wonder, like, well, how did that person that was successful, who was like, looked like he was like a multimillionaire in different businesses, how did they go bankrupt? Strict accounts. That is so important, and that's one of the things that I've learned over the years with the different businesses that I've started, is you got to keep strict accounts.
So you say strict accounts, you mean like make sure that company stay like,
whether it's a company, whether it's your real estate portfolio,
yeah,
whatever it is, you got to know what's going on, right? Even if you have a property manager, I want to see everything eventually, whether it's every month or every 6 months or like, I need to know what's going on and then compare it from the previous year. I want to see everything. Yeah. Is it time consuming? Yes, but it's your business. It's you gotta treat it like a business, right? And I think that's where a lot of people make the mistake. And if you can't do it, like, I'm not great at that stuff, but I make sure that I have somebody with me that I trust that can manage that finance piece. Right. So I know my strength and my weakness. That is not my strength. So I make sure I've got somebody there that can explain it to me. I can understand it. I can go through it myself if I want to, very high level. But strict accounts is what crushes experienced real estate investors. We know it. We've seen it over the last 2 years, right? Right. So a lot of people who, I've been doing a podcast for a very long time. A lot of the ones that came on the podcast that just started, their real estate investing journey, and all of a sudden now they became a coach. Like they're gone, and I get it. It was a great time, but the accounts were strict and they were growing too fast, too quick.
I actually just saw a clip, and I haven't read it yet, and I downloaded it on Audible. Profit First.
Yep.
It's about, I don't know if you read that book.
No.
It basically says that most people they do, the profit is income minus expenses equal profit. But you actually need to go income, pick your profit, and then run your expenses to make sure you take that profit first. And I think a lot of people, in terms of the strict account terminology that you're using, is they're just income, expenses, how much is left? Oh no, that's not enough. Like, you actually, if you're looking at a profit first and planning on taking that profit off the table, you now become more cognizant of your expenses. So I literally just downloaded it. I haven't read the book yet, but I saw that was the AI summary of it.
Okay,
so,
all right.
I'm going to ask one more question. I think we got a minute, couple of minutes.
Yeah.
How are you using AI? Are you using AI?
I am using AI.
Because I meant to talk to our last guest about that too.
Yeah.
How are you using AI?
I'm not using it to the level that I'd want to use it to at this point in time. 'Cause, I mean, listen, man, I don't know if anybody is. It's coming so quick and so fast. But I'm definitely using it, right? Whether it be for ideas, whether it be for responding to emails, whether it be, what's the new one now? Cloud. Yeah. I love that, because now you can create agents that'll actually go into your email or going to, say, maybe follow a boss or to do different functions within your computer. I mean, I don't even know where it's going to be in the next couple of years, but I definitely do use it. And I have my team using it, and I have operations and admin that's using it. And so they're actually showing and teaching me some of the stuff that they're using, whether it be for social media, so there's a lot of components to it. But I think, to add to that, and I think where some people are getting concerned is like, well, yes, it will replace jobs, but I still don't think it's going to replace this. I don't think that'll ever replace that. I call a call center and I'm talking to some AI personnel, and I'm like, operator, or you start cussing at them, like, I don't want to talk to you, okay? And you will never talk to another human. Well, maybe you could, but you most likely you're not. Yeah, you shouldn't. You're not going to talk to somebody like that, because they're not real. Yeah. So you don't give them any kind of level of respect. So this will not go away. I think for real estate, yes, it'll enhance what we do, but it won't replace this.
Yeah, it's I have my team huddle, our Monday morning huddle this week, and I literally said to everyone on my team, I want on Thursday when we come back for our Thursday morning huddle, tell me 3 ways you used AI to improve your process.
Yeah.
And literally, it was funny. During the call, a couple things came up, and people had never heard say, like, well, I just plugged it into ChatGPT and it gave me this answer. I was like, and what'd you think of that? They're like, I actually, this was really good. This would have taken me an hour to go figure out, and just using it as a tool to accelerate. I know this is becoming overused, but I heard it 5 years ago, or maybe 4 years ago now, that it's not that AI won't replace humans, but humans who use AI will.
Yeah.
So humans who are using AI as a tool. One lady, a lovely lady on my team, she's like, I'm scared of it. What are you scared of? What's the fear? Well, I don't know. I showed her. I did a project with her earlier this morning, and I showed her. I said, "How long do you think this took me?" She's like, "I don't know. How long are you working on that?" I said, "Here's the prompt I plugged in 5 minutes ago, and it created this whole thing." She was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God."
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I can't believe it did that. I said, it's just about accelerating things. So we could have a quicker conversation. This would have taken us a week.
Yeah.
We talked about it this morning. I took a 5-minute prompt. Now we're already running through this, and you have direction. Like, what does that mean for our business? So kind of talking about AI, where do you see, is your crystal ball here with you? Did you bring it?
I always bring it.
You bring it? Where do you see things going? I know we talked, now maybe a little up, a little down. Where do you see things going?
In regards to the market,
Real estate, market, AI, whatever.
Great question. I think we are moving into a renter's nation. One of the things that I've done, and I'm really big on this, I think it's so important, like when I go back and take a look at, like I've done newsletters on a weekly basis starting back in 2010. I wrote every single newsletter every week until 2020. Now I got a team that helps me with that, and they still go out. And every year that I looked at it, and those newsletters, it was always like, here's a new change, it's never going to be the same. Here's a new change, this is going to be change the whole real estate investing game. Where I'm going with that is that it's always about pivoting and adapting. And so I don't know where things are always going to go, but the one thing that I always do, and I'm always happy to do, is pivot and adapt. And I've brought on some new real estate agents on my team in the last couple of years, and they're like, Gary, it's now a good time to get my real estate license. I'm like, damn right it is. The reason why is because you'll now know what you need to do to win in this market, because when the good times come again, then you're going to crush that market. And when the bad times come again, you're like, oh, I need to actually pick up the phone. Oh, I need to go door knock. Oh, I need to go do open house. Oh, I need to go do the things that I need to do. So where is it going? I think things are going to be happening much quicker, much faster. And I think the faster you can pivot and adapt and not complain, then you'll win the game of whatever market that you're in. That's it. And multiple skill sets, not one skill sets, multiple. Right.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is, I'm a real estate agent. I've done marketing. I'm a podcaster. I own a real estate brokerage. I have a real estate lending company called Deep Pockets. I own a real estate education company. It's just so I used to be in IT. I never did sales before. So I've done so many different things. And I learned this from Jim Rohn, is like multiple skill sets.
The question I would ask you there, because sometimes people ask me this, and I know how I navigate, but I'm curious how you do.
Yeah.
Gary, you have so much going on. How do you handle it? You have all these different things.
Yeah.
I know what my response is. What's yours?
Yeah, great question. It's called Eat That Frog. It's a really good book by Brian Tracy, and what you got to do every day is you got to do something very difficult in the morning. So this morning I did yoga. I got up at like 5:50. Most people don't want to wake up that early. I don't want to either, but it's about consistency, and it's about discipline. And so then I will do 2 to 3 hard things in the morning to win the day. And the rest of the day now becomes easy. And then number 2, I don't trust my memory. So anything that I'm going to do for the day. So Monday, this was, I think, hard for us to kind of get together. I think we've been trying to do this stuff for a very long time. The reason being is, so like there's certain days, like Monday is my CEO day. I made an exception today where I don't leave the office.
Right.
And that is how I win the week, because I plan the whole entire week that day. And I take very limited calls. I'm just like, I'm working on that business. And then Tuesday, there's other things that I got to do. And then number 3 is I don't live in email. and I don't have notifications on my phone. If the world's gonna blow up, somebody will tell me, or I'll find out in the afterlife that, oh, wow, that was pretty quick. Oops.
Your notification wouldn't have saved you anyways.
Right, but I need less distraction in a world that's full of distraction, right? So Instagram, Facebook, like all those notifications are off. I go into it when I want to go into it.
How do you manage email?
I do it twice a day.
Twice a day?
Look at it in the morning, and then I look at it maybe around, say, 7 o'clock at night. And then anything, if I'm replying to anybody, it will be sent out in the morning. So I will have it scheduled. I will not reply to somebody at 7, 8 o'clock at night. Right. Because the last thing, I mean, I used to, but then now people start to reply back to me. Now I'm going back and forth in email. So they know that I will get back to them within 24 to 48 hours. And then if I need to, I've got people who can scan my email for me as well, too.
That's good. Do you have an EA managing your email or notifying you of?
No, but if I need to, I can always have somebody, hey, can you just take a look at my email to see if anything important comes in? But, and the other thing as well, too, is that I don't have anybody that leaves me a voicemail. Like, everything is text, and I tell them specifically. So if you direct people in what you want them to do so that you can manage your day and win your day, you'd be surprised. People will listen.
Yeah.
And they'll do what you want them to do. And the reason why is because I want to make sure that I'm getting back to you in a timely manner, or to be able to run my business properly with everything that I've got going on.
Right.
Yeah. Amazing.
Gary, that was awesome. I know I learned some things. I love talking to people who have a lot of stuff on the go, but have it reined in.
Thank you.
And one of the things that we're really trying to emphasize is sustainability in real estate investing.
Yeah.
And you're the epitome of that. You've been around for a long time, and just running a somewhat boring business.
Yeah.
Right.
I like boring.
That's the boring, sustainable stuff. That's what that works really well. Well, make sure we share your contact information so people can get hold of you. And connect.
Awesome.
And once again, thanks very much for being on. And
thank you.
You guys smash that like, follow, whatever Peter tells me to do, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.